They're back in school and parents have a lot of mixed emotions, but so do those teachers and students.
We are joined now by Dr. Ray Andrew from Prestige Wellness to share more about the feelings we may encounter during this time of adjustment in this sponsored interview. So good to see you, Dr. Andrew.
Good to see you again.
So back to school, my little boy just started and there's some anxiousness, there's anxiety. Not everybody is excited, is that right?
Yes, there's a lot of anxiety. Some kids are anxious about having to sit still and keep their mouths shut, where others are anxious about, or terrified even, of being called upon to speak up in class. And then we have those who are anxious about being bullied. And then there are some kids who have to go to school or they'll end up in detention again, so they're not excited about school either. And then you've got the teachers always wondering about, okay, what kinds of misbehavior am I going to have to deal with this year?
Right, it's a new class, here I go. But these challenges have always been part of education, haven't they?
Yes, they have, but the special needs population has exploded over the last, say, 40 years. Anybody who's been in teaching for very long knows that the rates of autism, of ADHD, of anxiety, depression have increased significantly, and it's not just better diagnosis, as some would have us believe. Teachers know better, and there are just way too many children who are not functioning at their grade level like they used to be.
Let's talk about individualized education plans for kids who need it, and maybe even medication that they're told to be on to help.
So IEPs and the drugs, the amphetamines, the antidepressants, antipsychotics, all of these interventions have been a godsend because they enable students to learn and teachers to do more teaching, but they're not enough. Even with all the accommodations and the assistance, there are still way too many who are not functioning at grade level or who are being passed just because that's their age.
What about the Americans with Disabilities Act? Has that helped at all?
Well, that helps once they graduate, but that's a big deal because when you graduate, think about this, you're not going to take your IEP to your employer, your prospective employer, and hope to be their top pick because employers are looking for the top talent. And so there are a lot of jobs out there that are just incompatible with mental, learning, and behavioral disabilities. Imagine if you were on a flight, on an airplane, you don't want to find out that your pilot had an IEP in flight school. Or you don't want to know, you don't want a policeman who has anger problems that have not been resolved. And you wouldn't pick a salesman who has no confidence, who doesn't maintain eye contact, and who can't relate to people. And these are the things that we're dealing with in the special needs population these days.
So how do we start thinking beyond the IEP and medications?
Well, we have to look to what is actually going on in the child's brain. You know, these days, you go to your doctor, a parent brings the child to us and they say, I want a diagnosis so that my child can get on the right drug and get in the right program. But at Prestige Wellness Institute, we're not interested in putting a label on the child, in part because when we label a child with a condition like, say, ADHD or a conduct disorder, we're lowering our expectations for them, not only now, but in the future. Secondly, it doesn't help us when we put that kind of a label on a child. It doesn't help us to know how to help them. It may give them the right drug, but that drug doesn't fix the problem. So what we do is we're looking for the underlying causes of problems, whether that's biochemical, which is what a lot of them are, or other problems, and then we help them fix that problem so that they, perhaps in the not too distant future, they don't need the drug, and maybe they don't need that IEP.
So you're not telling parents to stop the medicines, right?
No, absolutely not. That would be terrifying to a lot of parents who have seen the improvements that their kids have had. Rather, we help them get back to their optimal brain function so that once they get to that point, then and only then can we start thinking about having them talk to their doctor about maybe weaning off that drug.
Doctor, why are you so passionate about doing what you do?
Well, because it breaks my heart to see so many kids who just aren't functioning the way they deserve to. And then there's nothing that brings me greater joy than to see a kid say, you know, I'm not fighting my brain anymore. I feel like myself for the first time.
And do you see that frequently?
Yes.
What's the feedback you're getting?
Well, they love it. People love, children especially love being able to be themselves, and so do their parents, not having to fight them all the time.
Yeah, doctor, when I first met you, I came to do a shoot at Prestige Wellness, and I was so inspired by you and how much you do. This is somebody who mountain bikes and then goes and runs a marathon after. I saw it in action, and I told my parents, you have to go and see him. Where do we do that? Where do we get a consultation?
So we're in Springville and Moab, and it's Prestige Wellness Institute. Just go on the website and make a call.
All right, it's on your screen, everybody, Prestige Wellness Institute, and you're also doing something special for our viewers right now if they call in.
Yes.
So let's throw that up again, everyone. GTU3 is your code for a free biofeedback scan with that initial consultation. So thank you so much for doing that for our viewers. Again, Springville and Moab locations, and all the info on our website. Our thanks to Dr. Andrew and Prestige Wellness for